Hello, my name is Riqui Schwamm, and for my capstone project, I created an Android application that allows you to access vet clinic information. My advisor was Dr. Byun, and my client was IP&T Global. So IP&T Global, they're a software company based in San Diego. They mostly focus on medical software for hospitals. The software itself is usually just to handle patient information, and it keeps, well, the big part of their the key feature rather of their software is that it keeps all this data in one big centralized database. This could be the hospital information or your contact information, everything, medical history. And one of the things they wanted to do recently was expand their, this is for human hospitals by the way, and they wanted to expand to include animal and pet clinic hospitals as well. And another thing they wanted to add was a mobile solution for a smartphone that the users could use to access this pet clinic or animal hospital information. Okay, so the goal was to develop an Android app. I didn't do any iPhone development for this, just focused on one platform. I thought that'd be hard enough. And a key part was, as I mentioned, their main, or the key feature of it is it has a centralized database and collect all the information in one place. So not just, this project focused on not just developing the Android application, but the key feature, of course, was to access that database and make sure I could retrieve all that important information. So the deliverables were, it's pretty simple. It was the name of the place, the address, map location. I used Google Maps. And if the clinic were to have a mobile website, you could access the mobile website directly from this application as well. And this is the finished product. As you can see, Google Maps was a huge part of this project. I've used, on the far left, you can see, if you bring up the application, it will show the location of the clinic, and when you click on that, it will bring up the information, the name, the address, and of course you could pass that information to a driving location or walking navigation. And what it'll do is, if you want to get the driving directions, it'll pass that your current location based on GPS, pass that information to Google Navigate, and automatically calculate it and give you a turn-by-turn navigation. And once you get to the, say, clinic location, it'll automatically bring up Street View, so you can see what the actual location looks like and the building looks like, so you'll know you're in the right place. What I've learned for this project is, well, before this, I've never done any sort of Android programming at all. That was a huge learning experience. I just spent hours just going through documentation, just surfing the Android websites, just playing with my phone. And the database, well, I've had some experience working with databases, but this particular database, the MySQL database, this was the first time using that. So that was, I had to spend a lot of time reading up on that as well. And the hard part was this synchronizing the data, because all this information was kept in a separate computer in a database, and I had to use my phone to access it, and I had all this trouble like communicating with it, or the data only retrieved partially, and that was a huge problem that I had to deal with. And a lot of it was just constantly finding workarounds for it. Some of those solutions I just couldn't come up with. Like, I'll run into a problem, try to figure it out, and just couldn't figure out how to solve that problem, so I'll figure out like a workaround. I see some solution on a website, I go, oh hey, I could just do this. Instead of doing A, I'll do B, and just kept finding workarounds for it. And eventually everything came together and it works. Yes, and I'll have the post session in room 120 as well. If you'd like to come by and ask me any questions about the project. I'll also have a quick demonstration for anybody who's interested. Thank you.